Uh, in management and organizational behavior, block 1 of management concepts, in the previous session, we dealt with leadership, that is unit 4. We dealt with leadership, the various leadership styles and the qualities that are required for a good leader. We spoke about charismatic leadership, transactional and transformational leadership. Today, we shall be dealing with motivation. So, in today's session, I will be covering the motivation process per se, describe Maslow's need hierarchy, contrast the theory X and theory Y, will differentiate the motivators from the hygiene factors. I shall explain the characteristics that high achievers prefer in the job, summarize the type of goals that increase the performance, and see the impact of under-rewarding the employees, and also clarify the key relationships in expectancy theory. So, this would cover more or less most of the motivational theories. Now, going by the term motivation, what does it mean? It comes from the concept to move. To move where? To move in a direction that is beneficial. So, actions that lead to some gainfulness is what motivates individual. So, the process that accounts for an individual's intensity, direction and persistence of effort towards attaining a goal is the process of motivation. So, what are the key elements in this motivational process? One is the intensity, which means how hard a person tries. The second is direction. Direction is towards a beneficial goal. And the third is persistence. How long a person tries. Now, let's move on to the most common and well-known theory of motivation, that is the hierarchy of needs theory, and this theory was put forth by Abraham Maslow. Now, according to hierarchy of needs theory, there is a hierarchy of 5 needs, beginning with, at the bottom of the pyramid, the physiological needs, followed by the safety needs. Moving again up is the social need. Above the social need is the esteem need, and on the top of the pyramid is the self-actualization need. That is, Maslow's theory says that each need, when each need is substantially satisfied, then the next need becomes dominant. So, however, you will find that there are a lot of criticisms on this theory where they said that no, simultaneously you could have more than one or more needs that is playing, and it's not necessary that one need a satisfied, as Maslow says, a satisfied need ceases to act as a motivator. Now, I use the term self-actualization. What does self-actualization mean? It means the drive to become what one is capable of becoming. So, the pyramid with physiological need at the bottom safety above, social needs even above that, and having self-esteem needs above, and on the top of the pyramid I told you is the self-actualization. Now the lower order needs are the needs that are satisfied externally, like the physiological needs and safety needs. When I say physiological needs, I mean needs for basic needs of food, clothing and shelter. The higher order needs are the needs that are satisfied internally. It doesn't come from outside. They are social needs, that is the need to be accepted and identified, the self-esteem needs, recognition needs, and the self-actualization needs, where you can exploit your potential. Then coming to another theory that was put forth by Douglas McGregor. Douglas McGregor advocates theory X and theory Y. Theory X has certain set of assumptions. Theory Y has another set of assumptions. Meaning to say that manager who act as a theory X leader would be one who would assume that the employees primarily dislike work, that they are lazy, they need to be coerced, they dislike responsibility and wish to be away from taking on the responsibility. Whereas theory Y managers, contradictory to the X theory, are the managers who believe that their employees like work, they seek responsibility, they are creative, they can take up challenging assignments and they can exercise what we call as self-direction. So, theory, there is nothing like what is right or what is wrong. You see, theory X managers perform when their followers are not very matured, whereas theory Y managers perform when their followers are more committed, dedicated and who voluntarily contribute. So, it is more contingent on the situation as to whether theory X would be the right approach or theory Y would be the right approach. But certainly today in organizations which are ascendant, which are learning organizations, you will find that theory Y is the more appropriate style in which a leader can adopt. Then comes the two-factor theory. Now, this was put forth by Frederick Herzberg. Frederick Herzberg has beautifully distinguished between hygiene factors and motivators in his two-factor theory. These are the two factors. One is the hygiene factor and the other is the motivators. According to two-factor theory, intrinsic factors are related to job satisfaction, while the extrinsic factors are associated with dissatisfaction. Then you may ask me, what are hygiene factors? Hygiene factors are factors such as the company policy and administration, the supervision, the salary that they get, the adequacy of a job, Now, when these factors are adequate, people will not be dissatisfied. Again, let me tell you, the hygiene factors are factors that are essential for any employee to work. Now, amongst the hygiene factors, as I already told you, I would like to add some more apart from company policy and administration, the type of supervision, relationship with supervisors, working conditions. I told you about salary, then relationship with peers, personal life where there is that scope for work and life balance as well, relationship with subordinates, the status that you enjoy within the organization, and the security that you have working in the organization. These are the factors that characterize the events of the job and lead to extreme dissatisfaction in their absence. Now, what are the motivators? Now, what factors constitute to this composition of motivators? Achievement, recognition, work, the work itself, challenging work, responsibility, advancement, and growth opportunities. So, these are the factors characterizing the events on the job that lead to extreme job satisfaction in their presence. So, Herzberg's two-factor theory attempts to make a comparison of satisfiers and dissatisfiers. Now, let's look at the contrasting views of satisfaction and dissatisfaction from a traditional perspective and from Herzberg's perspective. From a traditional view, there are only two things: satisfaction and dissatisfaction. Whereas in Herzberg's view, he in his theory states that in the presence of motivators, it leads to satisfaction. I repeat, in the presence of motivators, it leads to satisfaction. And in the absence of motivators, it leads to dissatisfaction. And the hygiene factors, it says that in the presence of hygiene factors, there will be no dissatisfaction. And remember, when you say no dissatisfaction, it does not tantamount to satisfaction. In the same way, absence of hygiene factors will lead to no satisfaction, and no satisfaction does not tantamount to dissatisfaction. So, this is Herzberg's contribution to the motivation theory. Then we have the ERG theory, which was put forth by Clayton Alderfer. Now, he collapsed the Maslow's 5-level hierarchy of needs into 3 levels. He calls it the ERG theory, meaning to say there are 3 groups of core needs. One he refers to as the existence needs, where the existence need consists of the physiological needs and the safety needs. Then you have the related needs, ERG. E is for existence, R is for relatedness, and G is for growth. So, the related needs comprises of the social needs, and the growth need G comprises of self-esteem and self-actualization needs. So, the core needs, I repeat, existence needs provides for basic material requirements. The related needs provides for satisfying the desire for relationships, for acceptance. And the growth needs are ones which work towards satisfaction of the desire for personal development. So, according to Clayton Alderfer, ERG theory says that more than one, I told you there is a criticism of Abraham Maslow's theory. So, ERG theory says that it refutes the Maslow's theory and says that more than one need can be operative at the same time. He also says that if a higher level need cannot be fulfilled, the desire to satisfy a lower level need increases. So, this is about ERG theory. Then I will take you through David McClelland's theory of needs. Here, there is a triangular representation of three important needs: the need for achievement, the need for power, and the need for affiliation. So you see, in all of these theories, you will see that more or less the needs are the same. The order and the importance given to these needs are varying in their emphasis. The need for achievement is the drive to excel. It is a drive to excel in relation to a set of standards to strive to succeed. And the need for power is the need to make others behave in the way they would not have behaved otherwise. So your ability to influence the others is the need for power. And the need for affiliation is the desire for a friendly and a close interpersonal relationship. So according to David McClelland, when these needs of achievement, power and affiliation are met, the employee is motivated. Now, matching the achievers and jobs. See, achievers prefer jobs that offer personal responsibility, that provides effective constructive feedback, and where the individual is able to take on moderate risks. So this kind of a fit is what an employee would look for. Then you have this cognitive evaluation theory. Now this theory says that allocating extrinsic rewards for behavior that has been previously intrinsically rewarding tends to decrease the overall level of motivation, because they are not the individuals who are motivated only through monetary gains. There is what is called as recognition, self-actualization, the highest order needs that are more predominant than the need for money. And then you have the goal setting theory that is put forth by Edwin Locke. Now the goal setting theory says, it specifies, identifies the difficult goals, looks for constructive feedback which lead to higher performance. So Edwin Locke discusses what is called as self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is nothing but the individual's belief that he or she is capable of performing a task. Then you have this theory called the reinforcement theory. See, when we study the operant conditioning in one of the learning theories, as one of the learning theories, we talk about this reinforcement theory there as well. I mean, this concept of reinforcement is also discussed there. Now, reinforcement theory is based on the fact that behavior is a function of its consequence. So, my actions are governed by what would be the consequences, what would be the outcome. So, reinforcement theory considers the concepts that behavior is environmentally caused and that behavior can be modified, meaning to say it can be reinforced by providing consequences which are controlling in action. and that reinforced behavior tends to be repeated. Then we have the flow and intrinsic motivation theory. Then we have this Ken Thomas's model of intrinsic motivation, where it says that employees are intrinsically motivated when rewards an employee gets is based on the result of the work done. So there are aspects like choice which are being considered in intrinsic motivation. Choice is the ability to freely self-select and perform task activities. This can motivate the individual to take on challenging assignments. Competence, that's the second one. The sense of accomplishment from skillfully performing a chosen task or activity can be a great motivator. For a surgeon, doing a very challenging operation is a great sense of motivation. Meaningfulness is pursuing a task that matters in the larger scheme of things. There must be a sense of purpose in doing a particular job. So that gives intrinsic motivation. And the progress, the feeling of significant achievement and accomplishment, the task, the sense of achieving the task's purpose gives a great deal of confidence to the individual, gives motivation to the individual. Then there is something called as an equity theory in motivation. See, generally employees feel happy, say when they are offered a job and which they perceive as good salary, until a point when their salaries are being compared. You have another co-peer worker who has similar qualifications, similar experiences, and until at the point that you compare it with another individual, you're otherwise satisfied. But the moment you know that somebody is getting a greater salary for the same qualification and experience and the exposure that you have, you become dissatisfied because somebody else is getting a higher salary. Now this inequity theory, individuals compare their job inputs and outcomes with those of others and then respond to eliminate the inequities. So what kind of referent positions will they take? Self inside, self outside, other inside and other outside. Just take an example. When your salary, the salary of an employee, is less than the salary of another employee, outsider, you as an individual will perceive it as inequity due to being under-rewarded. And when you find that your salary is on the same plane as that of another individual's salary within the industry, you feel that, well, equity is being maintained. If there is a circumstance where your salary as an employee is greater than the salary of another employee, there too, invariably you will see that there is an inequity that is due to being over-rewarded, but you will not think that you are being over-rewarded, rather you will be satisfied that yes, I have got what I have deserved. Now what are the choices for dealing with inequity? Suppose you know that your salary is lesser than another person's salary. How could you set things right? You either change the inputs, update yourself, enhance your skills and competence, and look for a level playing field. Change the outcomes, meaning to say increase your productivity, increase the output, or distort or change the perception of self. Understand that you have lacuna, you have a deficiency, and therefore believe and understand that what you have got is rightfully, yes, you have got a lesser pay, but then that is fair because you have identified your lacuna. Distort the change in perception of others. Agree to the fact that somebody else is more competent than you. Then that worm that is troubling you, you can put that aside. Or to be in a state of consonance, what you have to do, you could do is to choose a different referent person. Go compare yourself. Apples and apples must be compared, not apples and oranges. So go to use a referent person who has similar, in terms of similarities of exposure, that can reduce your dissonance. If you still think you are frustrated despite all these attempts, leave the job, quit the job, find a new avenue. So the propositions related to inequitable pay is: over-rewarded employees produce more than equitably rewarded employees. Over-rewarded employees produce less but do higher quality of piecework. Under-rewarded early employees produce lower hourly employees produce lower quality work, and under-rewarded employees produce larger quantities of lower quality piecework than equitably rewarded employees. Now, in this context, we will look at the distributive justice, procedural justice, and here what is distributive justice? It is the perceived fairness of the amount and allocation of rewards amongst individuals. To remove the dissonance, you have to change your perception. Now, procedural justice is the perceived fairness of the process that is used to determine the distribution of rewards. Then we go into what is called as the expectancy theory. In this theory, it says the strength of a tendency to act in a certain way depends on the strength of an expectation that the act will be followed by a given outcome, and also on the attractiveness of that outcome of the individual. So there is an individual effort that leads to individual performance, leading to organizational rewards, that finally the outcome of which would be achieving the personal goals. So here you will see that there is an effort performance relationship, performance reward relationship, and reward and personal goals relationship. So the performance dimensions we must understand are: 1, ability; 2, opportunity; and 3, motivation. And the interplay of all this will lead to performance. So with this, I cover various theories of motivation. Thank you.